All right, gentle stretch and flow. Probably going to lean very heavily towards the stretch side of things because the weather here is dumb and all of my joints are achy. So we're going to start just in a comfortable seated position. You can have one leg on top or one leg in front, just whatever works better for you. Hands can rest on the knees. Make sure you can feel both sit bones pressing down into the floor. And then slowly start to stack the spine over the pelvis, stacking the heart over that, stacking the crown of the head all the way over, lengthening up, reaching up as tall as you can, but without being like stiff and rigid, just growing tall and gentle. Making sure as you sit here, even though we're sitting up tall, even though we're lengthening, you're relaxed. Your face, especially. Make sure you're not holding any tension. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, and a big breath out of the nose. Again, inhale. Exhale. I'm trying to draw the air all the way down to the belly. On your next inhale, we'll walk the right hand out, leaning to the side just as far as you can, keeping the left hip planted into the floor. Left hand can stay down for the moment, just finding the stretch in the lower portion of the side body. Once you feel okay here, you can take the left arm, reach it up for the ceiling, or maybe up overhead. If it becomes too intense with the arm all the way up and across, you can always reach back up towards the ceiling, sort of play around and adjust the stretch to fit you best. You want to make sure that your right hand is out far enough to give you plenty of space. We don't want it tucked in too far. And your right arm should be soft like a spring. Now slowly take the left shoulder towards the floor, bowing over the right knee. Maybe the left hand comes down towards the floor. Nice deep breaths in and full breaths out. Slowly walk both hands in. Come back up, facing front. Inhale, and we'll slide the left hand out, stretching through the lower body, finding how far you can go before the right hip lifts. And then you can take the right arm up and adjust the stretch. Maybe you float somewhere in between all the way over and all the way up. Just finding the nicest stretch for you. Left arm is soft like a spring. If your hand is way far out and you don't feel supported, you can slide it in. But just like with the right hand, we don't want it in too far because you want to be able to find that length up and over. And then slowly bowing the right shoulder over the left knee, right hand comes to the floor. And we'll walk it in. Now here, we'll just walk the hands forward over the legs. Big breath in. Big breath out. Now kind of reversing the movement, but not quite exactly the same as to the side. We're going to rotate the left shoulder up. reaching out over the right knee. You're not going to go as far as when we were reaching to the side because you don't have the support over there, and that's okay. Float the left hand back down. Right shoulder reaches up, opening up, almost as if you could turn your chest up towards the ceiling. And melt the right hand back down. Walk it in and walk it up. Sweep the right hand around behind you. Let the left hand come to the right knee. Gentle twist. Nothing too crazy. Melt it back to center. Sweeping the left hand around, right hand to left knee. Don't forget to breathe as you twist. Melt it back to center. Now we're going to take the legs and switch which one is on top or in front. Unless you have a cat in your lap, then you can stay just as you are. Take a big breath in, reaching all the way up. And a big breath out. Sweep the hands down and behind you. Interlace the fingers and draw the fist towards the floor. Chest goes up, eyes can go up. You're pulling the shoulders down and back. And then slowly release, sweep the arms around, give yourself a hug. Reaching the arms back, we'll interlace the fingers again. Draw the fist towards the floor, lift up. Maybe you try to lift the fist away from the back. Maybe not. Maybe that's not a today thing. Gently release, give yourself a hug. And then release the arms back down. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, pull the elbows down and back. Feel the shoulder blades slide over the back of the ribs. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, float it down. Let's take another spine twist. Right hand behind, left hand across. Maybe it's a slightly stronger twist. Maybe not. Maybe we keep it really light today. Unwind, sweep it around to the other side. Unwind and come back to center. Just give everything a little shake out. See how you feel. All right, now you need to upset the cat because we are going to come over into a tabletop position. Palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. You can start by just gently swaying the hips side to side, getting a little movement. Nothing crazy, just a little side to side, feeling through the hip sockets. And then come back to stillness. Let the chest melt towards the floor so your shoulder blades slide together. Now here, make sure you're keeping a light engagement of the core and you're not just dumping everything because we do want to keep the lower back protected. Now press up through the center of the back, separate the shoulder blades, push the floor away. Slowly slide down, shoulder blades come together, almost as if they could just right in the center. And then push the floor away. One more time. Let it all slide down. And then push the floor away. Now, keeping that pushed away sensation, we'll reach the heart forward, lift the sit bones up. Eyes can go forward, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine up towards the ceiling. Tuck the chin, cat. Inhale as you slide back into cow pose. Maybe you try to squeeze your hands towards your knees. Maybe you don't. And exhale as you slide into cat. Maybe you try to push your hands away from your knees. One more time. Choose your adventure. Inhale. Exhale, round the spine. Go ahead and sit the hips back for a second, reaching the arms forward, child's pose, keeping the knees in line with the hips if you can. If you need to take your knees wide, that is also fine. And we'll walk both hands over to the right side of the mat, maybe stacking the left hand on top of the right. You can press the hips over towards the left, deepening the stretch just a little bit. And now think about almost trying to drag your hands back. Your hips are pushing back just the tiniest bit more. Slowly release the extras and we'll walk the hands back through center. Take your time. Hands over to the left. Right hand can stack on top of the left. Finding your stretch here first. Maybe pushing the hips over to the right. And then it's like you're trying to drag the hands back, pressing the hips back just a tiny bit more. Releasing the extras. Walk the hands back to center. Forehead can come down. Child's pose, resting posture. Deep breath in. Big breath out. Meet me back in a tabletop position. Palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips, nice and strong. Press the floor away. I'm going to stretch the right leg back. Reach the left fingers forward. If you want to keep the left fingers on the floor, you can. Otherwise, stretch them forward. And then maybe float the right leg up off the floor. Just holding here, finding your balance. Think about reaching the hand, reaching the heel up for the ceiling, really engaging the back muscles, and float it down. Reset, tabletop. We'll stretch the left foot back, right arm goes forward. Float the left leg up, keeping the core engaged. Really trying to lift the hand, lift the heel, feel that engagement across the back. And release it down. You can give the hips a little wiggle out. Give the side body a little wiggle out if that feels good. Just wiggle everything. All right, from here, gentle wrist stretch. Take the left hand and turn the fingers around counterclockwise. So if you have your hand on a clock face, we're turning them counterclockwise to face towards you. Just so you can get a little stretch on the wrist. Go on the forearm. You can lean back a little bit. Just depends on your structure, your flexibility here. If it feels good, if it doesn't feel good, guess what? Don't do it. Let's release the left hand. Take the right hand. We're going to take that one clockwise. Fingers point back towards you. Gentle wrist stretch. So you can actually do this on your desk at work if you sit there and type a lot. It can feel really good. Slowly release it. Now we're going to slide the fingers back to where the back of the palm was and flip it over so that the back of the hand is on the floor. Trying to keep the arm straight, getting a stretch in the other direction. Now I'm going to turn and face the camera for a second. If as you're trying to get a stretch here, you've got bulldog arm going on. You're not going to get as much out of this. So really try to keep the arm straight, even if you're leaning back into it a little bit. Slowly release that. And switching sides, drag the right fingers back to where the back of the palm was. Flip it over, back of the hand down. Keeping the arm straight as best you can. We'll slowly release it. And we can sit back, roll out the wrists. All right. Palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Maybe you walk the hands forward a tiny bit, tuck the toes, lift up, find your downward facing dog. Now start out super bent knees and try to stick the sit bones up high in the air. Pressing down through all 10 fingertips, hips are reaching up. Now with your knees bent, I want you to think about softening the heels towards the floor. See how it feels. And then maybe you start to straighten the legs out. Maybe not. If as soon as you start to straighten the legs, you feel your back round, then we're going to keep the knees nice and bent. Deep breath in. Big breath out. Slowly, gently, carefully lower the knees down. Untuck the toes. Sit the hips back. Big breath in. Big breath out. Setting back up, tuck the toes, find your downward dog. Hips are reaching up high, heels are softening down, even if your knees are staying bent. But this time you can walk it out if you want to. So bending one knee really deep, trying to straighten the other one, just really engaging the heel towards the floor. Stretching through the calf, stretching through the hamstring. See how it feels. And maybe you try both, coming up high onto the toes, bending the knees, and then reaching the heels for the floor. High up onto the toes, bend the knees, and reach the heels towards the floor. High up onto the toes, bend the knees, and slowly lower all the way down. Reaching out, deep breath in. Big breath out. Go ahead and walk the hands in and come up, sit back on the heels for a breath. Have your blocks handy if you feel like you might need them. We're just going to come up onto the knees. Super beginner friendly flow here. Step your right foot forward. And then slowly lean forward into a lunge. Now you can place blocks under your hands if you want to. You can stay up on the fingertips. If your palms don't come flat, that's perfectly fine. It's totally up to you. Think about drawing the left hip forward and down, really opening up through the front of the left hip. Make sure that your right knee is stacked over the heel. You can always ooch and scooch the right foot farther forward if you need to. Deep breath in. Big breath out. Plant your left hand down. Reach the right arm forward. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale as you reach back and down. Inhale, reach forward and up. Exhale, back and down. One more big circle here. And let's shift the hips all the way back. Walk the hands back. Right toes lift up off the floor. And you can kind of wiggle it out here. Find where it feels all right. Now maybe that's a relaxed foot. Maybe it's a pointed toe. Maybe it's a flexed foot. Just see what feels the best for you. Big stretch on the back of the leg. This time we are drawing the right hip back nice and strong. Walk the hands forward. Nice and slow. Take the right hand to the inside edge of the right foot to bring the right knee back. Walk the hands back, sitting back on the heels. Coming up onto the knees. Second side. We step the left foot forward and lean down into it. Grab those blocks if you need them. Nothing wrong with modifying. Stretching out the front of the right hip, making sure the left knee is stacked over the heel. Left hand, inhale, we reach forward, up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward, up. Exhale, back and down. One more, forward, up, back and down. Start to walk the hands back, finding that stretch in the hamstring. Left hip is reaching back, almost as if you could drag the left heel back with you. Now you can have a relaxed foot, pointed toes, flexed foot. You can be anywhere in between. Nice deep breaths. And we will slowly walk it forward. Take the left hand to the inside edge of the left foot. Bring it back. Walk the hands back. Sit back on the heels. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Make your way up to stand. We're going to finish out with just a little bit of gentle, gentle flow. Get the blood moving a little bit. Get the joints moving a little bit more. Standing up nice and tall. Take a big breath in. Reach the arms all the way up. Palms can touch overhead. Exhale, dive it down. Bend the knees nice and deep. Fingertips come down. Maybe they reach for the floor. Maybe they brush the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, strong flat back. Hands are on the shins or the thighs or even at the waist. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees nice and deep. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart and release them down. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Exhale, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, strong flat back. Knees can stay bent here. And exhale, fold. Inhale, step the right foot back, lower the knee down to the floor. And let's reach the arms up nice and high. Exhale, just float them back down to the floor. Tucking the back toes, lift the knee. You can take a couple of little hopping steps to get the foot forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, inhale, circle, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, draw the hands down through the heart, releasing all the way down. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping the left foot back, lower the knee down. Inhale, reach up, big stretch. And exhale, float the hands back down. Tucking the toes, we lift up. Maybe it's one big step, maybe it's several little. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle up, standing tall. Exhale, hands to heart, and release them down. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees nice and deep. Inhale, reach the arms forward. And sit down. All right. Just come to a comfortable seated position. Whatever works best for you. Hands can come to the knees. We'll take a big breath in, lift up through the heart, let the eyes go up. Big breath out and round the spine. Inhale, reach up through the heart, lift up. Exhale, round. Can even rock it back a little bit. Inhale, up. Exhale. Now take all of that energy, all of that goodness, all of those smiles, gather it up, bringing it and your hands together at the heart. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been my pleasure to guide you. Namaste. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below or just wait till I stop the recording. And I hope to see you next time.